All right, we're live. Hello,
Hi.
welcome. What's up, party rental people? My name's Tariq, founder of Event Hawk, and I have the wonderful Stacie Chase here with me from Fun Time Services. What's up, Stacie? Good
Oh,
morning.
just getting through the morning like everybody else, getting the trucks loaded and the bounces out and the tents out. You got it.
On a
And coffee,
Tuesday.
because that's important.
Very good, very good. Well, I'm glad you're. Thank you for making time for this. So we just kind of just wanted to go through your operation, just kind of learn a little bit more about you. I know you've helped me a lot. And fun fact before we even start, technically Stacie is one of my competitors. So you guys
Yep.
can keep that in mind as we're
We got boxing gloves.
we do. Yeah. So let's just go ahead and just kind of let you get started. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about your business. Just start from scratch. What do you do? How long you've been doing it? How big you are? Kind of tell us either in gross sales or how much inventory you have. Just kind of tell us. Just tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, well, I have been doing this since I was a kid, but not all rentals. I grew over time.
And you have
So for
bounce houses and tents, right? So
Yeah, I'll give the backstory in a second. So what we do now is we are a destination for that we do planning, entertainment, rentals, decor, and in rentals that encompasses tents as well as bounces, as well as throne chairs and arches and Juji wedding crap and everything that you can think of that you need for either just a regular household party, like a backyard party, all the way up to a company picnic to a wedding. We're now strategically positioned next to a David's Bridal. Rumor has it Party City will be opening up a couple of buildings over because they kicked me out of my building to put a Party City in it. So I had to move warehouses this month. So we will be between a Party City and a David's Bridal. So we got party on the left, wedding on the right. We're ready to rock and roll. So that's kind of our strategic market positioning right now.
interesting. I heard some party cities are closing down. You got one opening up, but that's pretty strategic for you. So that's
Yeah.
great.
So I have been doing some form of entertainment, rentals, or decor since I was literally 12 years old, maybe 11. I started by doing balloon animals for kids at parties. I became a professional clown for 15 years. Along the way, I lived in New Orleans. I traveled the country with a carnival. So I've done big rides. I know how to set up a Ferris wheel and a Momo the Monster, and I can throw rides. Way back when I had a back. Now I don't have a back anymore. Did that. I was the lead person for Carnival for a few years. And then you need to hit with George and help him unload trucks.
All right.
All right. And
Did we lose you? One of us.
oh, there I'm back.
You're back.
Did you have the spinny wheel? I had the spinny wheel.
I did not.
Okay, I had a little spinny wheel. So then when I got up here, we bought 5 bounces from England way back when. And I still have every one of those bounces. I sold one to a good friend in the Cayman Islands. I still have every one of those bounces. They are probably 25 years old, and they still are some of the best bounces I own because they were made right and well. So we took on some bounces, and then 10 years later, somebody was like, you really got to get a tent. You really got to get a tent. I was like, no, I don't want to do tents. I never want to do tents. I hate tents. I don't want to do tents. What's that sound like? And I got a tent, and I got 2 tents. Now I have 102 tents. So
You seriously have over 100 tents?
I have over 100 tents. I just took in a huge tent order yesterday. That put me like another 15. So yeah, I have a shit ton of tents. I have about 140 bounce units, give or take, because I'm not through the pile that I bought from my last acquisition, and they gave me more than was on the inventory list. So that's why I say give or take. And that's like just kind of a quick count of things that are very large and rolled into rolls. And then I have about the same, if not more, tents, few thousand chairs, few hundred tables. So that's kind of the main throw. So that's the big part of what we do. Rentals drives us. We make more money on rentals. 70% of our income is rentals. And the other 30% is made up with decor and entertainment. So entertainment is things like face painting balloon animals, people that run concessions, they're considered entertainers, glitter tattoos, magicians, that kind of stuff. So it's a very insignificant amount of what we do. But Santas, we rock the world on Santas. We probably do, of the leftover 30%, 10% of that is probably Santas. 13% is decor, give or take a little bit on a percentage there. And the other 7 is just like miscellaneous, like costume characters. I mean, I have over 400 costume characters upstairs. Sorry, no, over 100. Sorry, not over 400. I have over 100 costume characters upstairs. So
And
that was really popular for a while.
You're exactly who I wanted to be when I got into this. Now you're the total opposite.
Now you are just the bounce man.
I just, but it's true. Like, you get into this business and you want to do hard rides and costume. You want to do all these different things. And as I'm listening to you, I'm just like thinking, like, man, I need to. How's she hiring all these people? How are you finding the people to do all these things? So
oh, sure. Ask the hard question.
That's the hard. Seriously, like that's kind of what we all struggle with. So it's anybody can buy inventory, but how do you marketing is one thing, but also how do you get the people? Because you could do all the marketing you want. I mean, we have literally people cancel our marketing services because they're like, Tariq, I don't have enough people.
Anna Treese, can you greet the people at the door, please? Because we're not technically open for business.
Legit business owner, guys. See, she's multitasking. She made time for this interview, but she's still running her business. Totally respect that. But yeah, no. So just curious on.
Well, hiring comes in multiple places. Usually, this is the time of year where a friend of a friend brings a friend to work. Hey, bring 3 friends. It's bring a friend to work day. I have some solid people that come back every year from college. I have people that are staff that are on all the time, full-time staff. They stay with me year round. And then I have my, college students that come in, get the summer job, so it's always a challenge. This is literally it's about a week late, but this is literally the 2-week period that we usually acquire most of our staff. Like it's always, there's one event, senior celebration, that's always a struggle for us because it is a late night event. And we have to have 4 or 5 guys because it's really big equipment and it's inflatable equipment. Mike, you might know more but to answer their questions than Anna Treese does because it's her first day. So we always are, that event is always like a linchpin for us. We're like, will we have the staff? Do we need to bring in older staff and just say, please come work this one night? This year it went off without a hitch. I had the people to do it because I had kept 4 guys over the winter, full-time guys over the winter. So we were fine. We got through that particular event. And then, but that's always the signal for me that that's when things are going to start to turn because that's when graduation happens, colleges come back, and that's where I get the majority of my guys in.
So your tip is right when school ends. That's when the best time to hire is. That's when you're going to find
advertise heavily because that's when they're going to start to look for the summer job. That's when they're going to start to look for something to do, and just ask them. You got friends? I mean, I give a referral bonus for guys that bring in friends.
That's awesome.
Ironically, kid that's working today walked in, and he is a friend of 3 guys who worked for me a couple years ago. He's like, yeah, I think some of my friends worked here. He rattled off their names like, oh yeah, those guys all worked here. And now I got to catch up on what they're doing. And most of those guys were high school guys. So now they're all off in college. So it was kind of neat to hear the story about what happened to them after they left here.
So they're still referring friends to you even after they left. That's wow.
Yeah, like 3 years later. And now they're referring college friends, which I like college friends. They're smart.
Amazing. So why did you get into this to begin with? So like just from day one, you said you were doing the balloon animals. Was it a job? Was it like a family business?
I'm going to roll back for 1 second on hiring because I want to put this out there for the smaller guy. Because this is a lesson I learned working with a spouse for the beginning of my career. You will burn out your spouse. You will have a tough time if you burn out your spouse. And 10 years later, when you need your spouse to come back, you're going to have to be really, really sweet about that. But if you're sick, who takes your place? You need to have somebody who can cover you if you're sick, if you're ill, if you hurt yourself doing a bounce, if you're in a position where you're going to lose your whole business. If you can't work, you're working for your business, not in your business. So you need to very carefully craft a plan, even if it's somebody who doesn't work full time, even if it's just a friend of a friend who can fill in if needed. You need to have that backup. Because if your income stream is based solely on you getting out there and humping those bounces, or you setting up a tent, or you jumping in a costume, if that can't happen, that will be the death of your business. And I say this from experience. When we went through having my daughter, that took me away from my business for 100+ days. She was 100% of what I had to do at the time that she was born. And that was just an unusual circumstance. But if you can't run your business and you're the one who is the person who runs it, you will have to come up with a way to work around it. You'll have to rebuild. I'm lucky. I came out of it ahead. I had people that I was able to hire that were there for me. I have people that I can walk away from the business for a few days if I need to. She was in the hospital less than a month ago. I had people to cover. It's not always easy, but you need to have that in place, because it will be hard for somebody who is only a solo operator to do that. And you're just in a situation where it is too much these days, too prevalent of things, diseases, COVID, whatever. Learn the lesson from that to have a backup in place. So that's my 2 cents of advice for the guys that might be just starting out and relying on themselves, or maybe themselves and, one helper. Have your backup system in place.
Now, do you hire managers, or do you promote, like, you hire them as drivers, delivery guys, and then you promote them as managers? Like you said, you have somebody that can run your business if you're gone. How did that happen?
Well, I have Heather, who runs the office, and then I have full-time guys that none of them are particularly a manager at this point. We've offered positions. Some of them just don't want to get out of the hourly rut. And I'm like, why? You should be on salary. So we have had in the past a facility manager that handles all the, pull and push and go out to the field and do site surveys and stuff. There is a big conflict when you have guys that have been with you for 4 or 5 years and somebody comes in as a manager that hasn't been. There creates a rift there for me in my business model, where they go, why is this guy telling us what to do? He's only been here for not a hot minute. So I had to reevaluate my structure and realize that whoever comes in that position is now just literally, you get to count tables and chairs, you get to pull tables and chairs, you get to make sure the tent tops are cleaned, you get to do all of the maintenance aspect and the work aspect in the warehouse, but you aren't the field guy, because the field guys, they want to run their thing. So they get bonuses for extra things that they can do. If they do a site survey, or if they are the front person at an event, they get paid different. So that puts them into management position for the day, but they don't want to be the guy who is always the guy. So they want somebody else to take the brunt of that. So in my structure of how I've had to set it up, I've had to find their strengths. And that is one thing that I find over time is really important, is communication with your employees and finding out what they're good at. If they're not good at tents, but they're great at bounces, try and run them on bounces as much as I can. But I always tell them up front, they got to know everything, but that makes them more of a team player if you lean into their strengths. And then you'll identify who's really excelling at that. Yeah, my wrestlers, they can wrap bounces all day long because they know how to wrap a wrestling mat. It's like second nature to them. And they don't mind the heavy work. The football players, they don't mind the heavy work. The cross-country players, they never last. The cross-country runners, they're just like, I don't know why. We lose them all. You think, hey, they can run for hours, but they can't lift or move or whatever. So no cross-country players. I'm just teasing. But then there's guys that don't look like they're terribly strong, but they are mathematically inclined and they can figure out how to build a tent in like 7 seconds. And they played with Lincoln Logs their whole life, so they're good to go. But you got to figure out their talent by letting them try a little of everything. And so I always tell them in the interviews, and I always tell them when I hire, if you're uncomfortable or don't understand your job position, talk to us. If you like something more than something else, talk to us. Because I would rather keep a good employee in a situation where they're comfortable than burn somebody out in a situation where they're uncomfortable and they just think it's their job. It's the grind. Well, it doesn't need to be the grind. We just have to find where it works for you.
Makes total sense. Focus on strengths.
And everybody should have a mic. Right, Mike? Mike is anything goes to hell, Mike fixes it. He runs linens. He goes and gets coffee.
I'm your pitch boy. That's what I am.
You heard him. He does a little of everything. Everybody needs to have a mic. But no, everybody does. a story I read once said everybody needs to hire, and there was a particular name attached, but I'm not going to use the name, that everybody needs to hire a second. Let's call that person a second. And that person, you got to spend a little more money on that person, but they're going to be the ones that are your pick up the slack guy. So back to what I said earlier. Anyway, so did that answer that question?
Yeah.
I backtracked, but.
How long have you been in business? Just so you kind of get an idea of if somebody started 2 years ago, we can't expect them to be where you are today. How long before you got to where you are today?
I have been in business locally here for 23 years. And prior to that, I was in business for a good another 15-ish. Let's go with 41 years.
All right.
But that counts my time as a babe, a little babe. But you had to get I will tell anybody, learn how to make an animal balloon. You'll have a job for life. I learned how to make an animal balloon when I was 12 years old. I still make them today. I can go stand in New Orleans and make $100 an hour. So
makes sense. So,
I know it sounds strange, but I have employees that come back and go, I'm so glad I learned that from you. I went to college. I worked for this other company. I was able to do animal balloons. So you will have a job. And then they're like, and my kid's birthday came up and now I have a 2-year-old and I did animal balloons. I'm going, oh my God, I'm so old.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Oh, that's really cool that you teach and that might be part of why people like working for you, and you're teaching them new skills. You're kind of being a mentor. You're being that person for them. I think it's a lot more than just like, I struggle with what you said. You got to pay them more, whoever's going to be your second. And I find that alone doesn't work. I've tried paying people way more than they're worth, and this money doesn't motivate a lot of people these days, which back in my day, that's like what it was all about. Like, tell me what you can pay me. If you can pay me what I want, I'll do whatever it is needs to be done. But
it's a little unusual I'm going to go the last 2 years. We have an unusual hiring crowd right now.
Yeah. So I don't.
One kid that came to work for me was very upfront when he came to interview for this summer. And he said, look, I'm focusing a bit on me. I want a few days I want to work out. I want to, get back into the swing of things. I need that time for me. I need that mental time, but I'll give you 4 days. Okay, fine. I'll take 4 days. I'm good. I'll take you Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. But he was upfront about it in the interview. And I felt that was some self-realization on their part that they know what they're asking for, which is great. Because a lot of times I get people, it's their first or second job. I tell them up front, this is never the job you're ever going to expect it to be. It's different every hour of every day. Never the same day twice. You might do the same thing twice, but it's never the same day twice. And you have to be on your feet, think fast. You have to be self-directed. So if you've got people that just want to stand at the Best Buy checkout counter and play on their phones, they're not your guy.
Right.
But the kids that will do sports, the kids that I find we have particular luck with, people that are in scouts, people that are in church, people that play sports, because they've all experienced a manager or a mentor above them.
Scouts, church, got it.
Church, sports, and scouts. All of them, or really strict parents, but sometimes that could go either way. But all of them have experienced direction from an adult. If you haven't had somebody who has gotten direction from an adult that's not their parents, they will have a hard time adjusting to a job. You also have people who've been in other fast food service positions and they realize what a challenge those are. And they want to work outside of that. They want the bit more freedom. Those are the people who have had a bad experience and come to you and fit those categories. They work out the best because then they realize how good they got it.
Very true. Very true. All right, let's jump over to, I guess we talked about where you are now. So,
I'm so sorry to backtrack one more time. Get a scheduler. If you have more than one employee, get a scheduler. I use When I Work, but I was recently, somebody wanted to jump ship and go work for another company. And he came right back to me. He's like, they don't take out taxes. I don't get a check. They don't have a scheduler. When I was a babe of a company, even like 10 years ago, I didn't have a scheduler, an app of any sort to schedule them. So if you don't have that, get it. You look 10 times more legit when they think they don't just have something on paper or by text.
You said a scheduler, meaning
a scheduling program for your employees. Like I don't even care if they're 1099 employees. Just if you have anybody who works for you, you should have some sort of a clock in, clock out system.
When I Work, that's the app. That's the name of the app.
Mm-hmm. That's it. What app I use? There's several. You can get it through QuickBooks. You can get it through Square. You can get it. There's a lot of them out there. I like When I Work because you get like up to 10 for X amount of dollars. But I mean, I use
your employees worked for someone else and they realized that they weren't organized. They didn't have anything together. And they're like, man, like I need to be somewhere. So that was one of the unknown perks, I guess.
Well, and also because they weren't taking out insurance or taxes. So right away, and this kid has already had an injury on the job. And I just straight out pointed to him, if you get hurt over there, it's on you. So having, workers' comp and being a legit company makes a big difference to some, especially to people. I mean, some people like to make the $25 cash and go pick up the bounce, but man, one back injury is going to set you back 10 grand, 12 grand, 20 grand. Doesn't matter. My surgery, when I had back surgery 15 years ago, was $48,000. I don't think any of us want that bill.
No, we don't want that injury either.
No, but the scheduler program helps because then you have them clocking in, clocking out. There's no dispute. You can communicate with them and you really can control 1 to 25, 50, 75 people. So so on to employees, that makes you look better if you have that in place, and always have employees do your paperwork.
Well, thank you for sharing that. When I Work, there you go.
When I Work, that's the app I use, but there's tons. There's free ones. I think Lion Clock is a free one. There, you can find them. It's easy.
All right.
You said Humanity? Another one called Humanity, Mike says. His other job that he used to have that he doesn't have now used to use Humanity.
Humanity.
Okay. Next question, and I promise I won't interrupt again.
No, you're doing great. Okay. Struggle. So you said where you are now. What are some things that even you're struggling with, or what are some things that you're working on now that you're having a tough time with? Yes, we're getting real vulnerable here.
Oh no, 100% organization. We've had to move 3 times in 2 years. I can answer that hands down. Getting things organized, cleaned in the right spot. My big mantra for years and years. The white linen's on the other table, Mike. You got to put it under the red linen. For years and years, my struggle has been, we grew really fast. We have 4 warehouses right now. We're trying to get down to less. So the struggle is, I always say, you can't yell at an employee for not putting stuff away if there's no place for them to put it. If they don't know this is where this bounce goes and this is where the blowers go and this is where the stakes go, and they leave them in the middle of the floor, they got them in the building and they're like, I mean, your warehouse is awesome.
We don't have as much stuff as you do, so that's
or as much space.
You want a clean warehouse, then don't get a lot of stuff.
Yes, what Terry said.
Then you don't make as much money. So
Heather's like, sell it all. I only want 10 things. It doesn't work that way for us, but that's how we grew. But that is a constant struggle. Like, that's literally somebody's entire job. 2 people's entire job is to get carts in and get things in their place. And I can tell you that if you're always refining the length of time it takes to get something on a truck. Okay, so your expenses are based on your labor. Your labor is based on how far they take that they have to walk that to the door and get it on the truck. So if your tents aren't right by the door where you load the truck and they're across the building, you've just added hours over the month to your labor time. So if you're watching your efficiency, you have to think about how to design your space. And in our case, organizing and getting our space to where we can sit still for a minute has been the most difficult challenge. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, this is the last move for a while. But I mean, we currently have a 7,500 square foot showroom. We have a 30,000 square foot building we share with another tenant that gives us 15,000 of back end storage space, which is basically our functioning warehouse. We have another 2,000 square foot warehouse that's for specialty items. And I have another like 1,300 square foot warehouse we're moving out of into the bigger one. So we'll be done with that one by the end of the month. But at the time, we had to get stuff in places. So there was no choice. We had to just get it out of the building for the business we're purchasing or whatever. And we had to make choices on the fly to get it home. Now it's going to finally land into one home, hopefully.
One big warehouse. So the question in my head, which I'm sure there's a lot of people, how can you afford all this stuff and all these warehouses? What do you do, I guess, in the
I
in the
smile. No,
off what is that like for you? You know, I mean, you're near me.
I
You're
don't
outside,
have an off season. I
outside of
don't have
Chicago.
it. I've crafted my business to where I don't have an off season. November is the slowest month I have, and January is close.
What do you do November, December, January, February, March? I don't know.
November, I go to conventions.
Okay, you go buy more
So
stuff.
I kind of take November off, but my business does mostly tables, chairs, decor. So that picks up. People are doing inside parties, so we do the decor and the rentals for inside parties. Everybody wants a place to take a picture. They want that fancy Gigi arch, et cetera, et cetera. So that is a thing, and that burns our November sales. But November is traditionally tables and chairs and linens for Thanksgiving. That is your one push in November. The minute Thanksgiving is over, Christmas starts. And I rock Christmas. All December is holiday parties, tables, chairs, throne chairs, Santas. That's where we kick into snowmen. We do Christmas walks. We do outdoor bounces in December, which I don't love up here, but we do it. So that all happens in December. Then January comes and I'm like, whoop, whoop, vacation time. So I go on a cruise and I lock the doors because I don't need to do shit in January. But no, that's not true. People come in and plan their weddings because the biggest time of the year to get engaged is
January.
December and January 1st or December 31st, whatever, New Year's Eve, everybody gets engaged. So now we've had all the holiday brides get engaged. We've had all the New Year's parties with the balloon drops and stuff that we've done. We're exhausted. We don't want to do anything. But then that's when they start to trickle in. So January is like a planning month. We don't do a lot. There's some school dances, et cetera, et cetera. And then really January, February is the slow slump of that. And then March is the uptick because then you start to get the out of school planning and school fun fairs, that kind of stuff. So
Do you have any trouble marketing this stuff? Like, what advice would you give to somebody who wants to, like, okay, I buy all this stuff and then it just sits just because you put something, that's a big mistake we all make as newer guys.
do your marketing.
Well, we put it on our website, just because I have photo booth on my website, or I talk about the arches or the Santas. How do you get your name out there for something new? With all due respect, you might be the wrong person to ask for a newer person because you have that customer base. You've got thousand people who already know you. You could just one mass email, or did they just kind of know that you do everything? But
Honestly, I haven't sent an email in 2.5 years.
good.
Not on purpose. I just hadn't got my shit together enough to do it. I'm gonna be honest. Because I didn't have that automated. That's probably a big chunk of thing to tell. I mean, like, oh my God, I can't talk enough about Event Hawk because it makes my life easier. I have canned things. I can send out canned messages. I don't have to answer the same question. I literally have 2 people coming in today to learn Event Hawk here in the office. Okay.
Can I sneak some?
And this is not like me sucking up to the boss here. This is true. Like your system, which I know is, based on another system, but has really taken communication burden off of constant phone calls, constant text. It's still constant, but it's constant in a different way because now they're in a funnel. We can see where they are. We move them along. Our funnel is like 16 deep. Like we have different stages as we move the people along. That helps. That CRM function helps tremendously on my size business. It will parlay into some other things. Here is what I did for myself this year. The new person, to go back to the new person, always have a mailing list. 100%. Just because I said I haven't sent one, that doesn't mean they shouldn't be sending one. You shouldn't inundate your people. People don't want to see something necessarily every week, but they love a text every week because they don't read their emails anymore. Before COVID, I sent 4 emails a year. I sent a marketing email pre-summer, said, book your stuff now. Here's your special price. I sent a marketing email before Easter because Easter is big for us with Easter bunnies. I sent a midsummer marketing email just to get people to plan their graduation parties and their water slides. And I sent a Christmas email. I sent 4 emails a year, 4 years. That was it. They went out to everybody. And I have a massive email list, which you should always purge your email list and make sure that it's verified before you send emails. Because otherwise your server doesn't like you and blah, blah, blah. And Tariq can tell you all about that. But that is, if I were a new guy, I would send 4 emails, not a monthly email. If you want to do a special, I personally would be sending a text for a monthly special. So, hey, flash sale on popcorn machines, rent a bounce, get your popcorn machine for $15 off or free supplies for 100. It's always value added. Don't give discounts. That's my opinion. I very rarely give a coupon discount. Very rarely. It's only when I really want to drive something. I usually do a value added. So I will run a tent special with a percentage off one time a year. Nobody ever takes advantage of it. Nobody ever calls me with the coupon. It's online. Event Hawk sends people to it. They don't take it. I do a value added free graduation sign upgrade where they get this little 2022 graduation sign with their lawn sign. Everybody takes advantage of that. They all want that. They want the free thing. They want the extra thing. It's like Kohl's. You always want your free extra. It's like your dollars. So is in terms of marketing, do a value added free bubble machine with a bounce. Used to be the thing for years and years and years. I don't know if we care about bubble machines anymore in the industry. I never did it, but that used to be a big thing. So I always used to craft it to where in any packages I do now are crafted to where it looks like they're getting something extra. It looks like they're getting something extra. They're getting a bonus, something I would be, that's a gimme. It's a gimme anyway, but it's value for them. They find value in it. For me, it's putting one little piece of coroplast on the road. It's putting 4 balloons on a stick and handing it to them. That has a very low cost for me, but it has a high marketing dollar value. So for the newbie, yes, you should email your people, but you should also text is 80% more effective than email. So if you want to be in front of them monthly, not weekly, not biweekly, maybe biweekly, monthly. Not everybody has a party every 2 weeks. Just give them the gentle nudge that you have a special. They will look through their phone back a year to find your phone number because they will save you as party person, bounce person, whatever. I tell people all the time, just save me as party person. Because when you want to go plan a party, you're going to look for not my name, not me, not my business. You want party person or event person or whatever. Come up with your catchy thing for them to save you as and tell them, here's my popple, here's my QR code, whatever. Save it in your phone. So,
Yeah, no, that's a big. We're actually trying that this year more with because everybody wants weekday specials. They put it all over their website, but I always say
why? I don't do any less work on a Tuesday than I do on a Friday.
well, you have more stuff available for a lot of these newer guys. But if I'm planning a Saturday party, I'm not going to change my date so I can get money off. But like you said, if you send out an email or a text once a month, it's like they can plan ahead.
But what's the difference? I'm going to argue with you a little bit. What's the difference between just giving them something nice Monday through Friday that's a bonus? Like, hey, Monday through Friday, I'm going to give you a bubble machine, but Saturday and Sunday, no bubble machines.
That works. I like that.
There's no money out of your pocket for one little bitty piece of equipment, really.
Yeah.
But you don't want to mess with that on Saturday and Sunday because you're already busy those days, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So make their value added through the week, but you're not putting any less labor dollars out to set that bounce up and tear that bounce down.
True.
So why would you take money out of your pocket?
No, I agree. It's all if you can give more, why give less? You want to get less, but it is more valuable to give more. Absolutely right. And you can split test us. This for a lot of us, we're in this.
There you go. Use the little landing page on Event Hawk and split test your specials, and then you'll know what works.
You know what people like exactly. So, what do you wish you knew? Kind of, when you started a lot of time. But what is one thing that I guess? What's your big?
I started before the internet, Tariq. I'm that old.
Yeah, you're one of those yellow pages.
I went to the library to learn how to make a balloon animal.
Wow, that's where you learn. Awesome. You're very resourceful. We need more people.
Some of the young kids on here going, "What's a library?"
So what do you wish you'd done differently? What's your biggest regret, or what do you wish
I'd gotten into tents 10 years sooner?
Oh my God, I would give you guys a total opposite advice. But go ahead, tell us all about that.
No, honestly,
I don't know if he's trying to push my buttons or what.
No, I'm not trying to push your buttons. I sincerely, I wish I would have gotten into tents sooner. They make me good money, and they're you go with labor intensive, I go with it's just part of the thing. Anyway, you just price it for that. So what I wish I would have done sooner is really legit it up. Jan and I kind of had touched on this on a phone call a few weeks back, whatever. I'm on a Zoom call. So for financing. I would never have gotten my COVID financing, my PPP loans, if I was not legit. I mean, you need to be an LLC, a sole, whatever you are, you need to be that. You need your paperwork. You need your insurance. Insurance is important. I use West Bend, just FYI. I know we've got a lot of fans of some other companies out there, but West Bend has treated me really well. But I pay a small fortune for insurance, but because it's my size, it's not what I do. It's my size. So, I used to look at insurance as to what happens if I get hit by a tornado, just replace me and move on. But now I look at insurance as it's just you need it no matter what. Get legit, because you are going to have to show those financials one day. $25 for a pickup and cash off on the side. You ain't tracking any financials for that.
So LLC insurance. What else? What else?
Keep your records. Get an accountant. If you can't afford an accountant, make sure you know how to use QuickBooks. I mean, my accountant costs me $99 a month. They do all of my bookwork. They file all my taxes. I don't have to work on it. They do my payroll. They do everything for me. I wish I had done that 20 years ago, because that 100 is so well spent.
I pay way more than that, so I'm gonna have to get that info from you. But that's a great price. You can get a CPA, somebody to kind of stay on it, and they'll message us sometimes. Hey, we don't know what this charge is. We don't know where to categorize it. It's great. It's great. It's like you said, working on your business, not in your business.
When I need numbers, I just go, hey, Pat, give me my numbers, and boom, she sends them to me.
Right there. It's great. And I went through the same experience during COVID. We were able to get a really big grant, because a lot of people were like, yeah, there's no way I qualify. But he just literally, I just told him, hey, here's what I want to do. He's like, just plug these numbers in. Boom. I don't know what any of them meant. He's like, just put this number here, this number here. I sent him a screenshot, and boom, we got a big, it was a grant. It was one of those grants. We didn't do the whole PPP.
Was it the EIDL?
I forgot which one it was. We got like 40 grand. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, I was like, that saved our business, honestly, during off season and just through all the worry. And that was not a loan, and that was just given, and it was 100% legit, like you said, So,
but you couldn't have done it if you didn't have it. And if you have that, you know your numbers, so you can find out. Like, if you're tracking your equipment in a program, but you're tracking your expenses with your accountant, you know your numbers. You know if your labor's too high. You know if your truck costs are too high. And you can also go, well, hey, this slide bounce combo is renting like crazy. And not just because I set it up all the time, but I'm making 10 times more on this than my little bouncy house over here. So I need to buy 5 more of these, not 5 more of those. So it'll help direct your spend as well.
100%. So get a CPA. Definitely something we wish we did better. So what do you want to tell everyone? I guess closing comments here. What do you want everybody to know besides everything we've shared? What do you want everyone to know here, that besides just what's your final message?
Do what you're good at. If you're good at bounces, do bounces. If you're good at multitasking and you want multiple things, do that. Don't get sucked down the rabbit hole of owning everything, because that's what everybody wants. My rule of thumb is, if I get asked for it 5 times and I don't have it, then I consider if I'm going to buy it or not. 90% my rule of thumb. Heather will tell you that's a fib, but if people are asking for a circle arch over and over again, I need to own a circle arch. But if people are asking for a square arch once a year, I don't need to own a square arch.
Well, a lot of times it feels like they're asking over and over again, but you got 100 calls and 5 of them were for something you don't have. That's how we got into tents and tables and chairs, because we're like, man, we're missing out on so much. I don't think at the time it was so much, but you think it is. But I think it's like what you said. Do what you're good at, and kind of know what you're getting into. Do the research, because I have nothing against tents. The tents made us a lot of money. We would not be the size company we are with the tents, but the labor and the issues that we have, we're just not.
And Heather says buy quality. Don't not buy quality, because like you think that you're getting. Because when I started this conversation, I told you I bought 5 bounces from England 25 years ago. It's true. I still own them. They still work. They don't have holes. They don't have rub marks. They are awesome. I mean, I have one small stitching area in an obstacle course that has probably gone out 600 times. And it is still a better quality obstacle course than I have gotten from most of the other places I buy obstacles from. I have old Ninja jump units that are still running strong because they were made with a thicker vinyl at that particular time. I know it's all about thinner, better, smarter, heavier, faster, whatever works for you, but by quality. Don't.
Definitely. And that takes research because you can't just, everybody says they're great. Dana's asking about something you said on another live about sub-renting dishes. Is that?
Oh yeah, I don't do dishes or linens. Well, those are charger plates for reference. Those are not dishes. They're fancy juicy crap. Sub-renting dishes. I don't know where you're at, but you should be able to find a place that does dishware and flatware. Is she local to us, Tariq?
No.
Okay. So
I don't think so.
there's a number of companies around here that do dishware. It costs me $35 to have the guy drop the stuff off to me. I take it to the client with the rest of my items. $35 is a steal. I don't know how he manages that. But I just recently, for example, did an entire dishware order and made $600 profit without touching a piece of dishware. I just sub-rented it, sent it where it needed to go, picked it. I didn't even do the pickup and drop off. I made him do it. He picked it up. He brought it back. It's all good. So find your partner for linens because you never want to do laundry. Save perhaps some spandex linens but also invest in quick covers. If you're doing tables and chairs, quick covers will make you good money. Spandex is fine on like high tops and stuff, but you don't need to do them on regular tables or round tables or anything like that, only on high tops. Find a linen company you can sub-rent from that will bring you the linens and pick them back up when you're done because people do want linens if you're doing tables. So those are a couple sub-rent things that I will never – I used to launder my own linens. I will never go back. So I don't do dishes. I don't do laundry.
How does that work with the chargers? You pick them up dirty, like you got to go.
Oh, chargers are always just for underneath the plate, so it's just a quick rinse and they're good. They're not eaten off of. They're for under a plate. They
leave them all on the like. You have to go and grab each one, and
I don't do it. That's on their caterers rent those from me. Okay. I don't touch them. A bride might rent them, but then she brings them back, wipe down, and we sanitize them and call it a day.
We looked into linens and we did a couple, and it just ended up being like for us, again, smaller company. We didn't have the volume or it just wasn't worth it for us. So definitely do your research.
But you can also have the linen company deliver direct to the client. Just say, here's my partner linen company, and just pass them off. If you're not getting 25 requests a week or 25 requests a month for linen, you don't need to have linens.
Right.
And don't do your own laundry. You'll regret it every day.
Never, definitely. We did that for a bit. It was terrible. Well, Stacie, thank you so much. This has been amazing. Anything else you'd like to share?
I can't think of anything offhand, but if anybody has questions, they can message me. I'm sure I'm in.
I want an Event Hawk shirt.
Oh, we want an Event Hawk shirts and hats. I would like the pink one, please.
We're getting there. Yes.
Look at the marketing, right? But that's Heather, everybody. Like I said, get yourself a Heather. She wasn't here when I said it.
I've been trying to steal Heather for a while. You like that pink one? I got you.
You need the pink one. You need a pink shirt.
It is not easy to
I'm such a big fan of Event Hawk. My hair is the same colors.
These are new colors. You see those new colors? Yeah.
It was inspired by me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, both of you guys. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Stacie. Stacie is like for Star Wars. Stacie's like my Yoda. Anytime I need something, I go to Stacie. I'm like, listen, I have no idea. I can Google this. I can go in the group, but I want to hear it from you. And she's always so responsive. So, Stacie, you guys can find Stacie on in the Event Hawk Facebook group on Facebook. Maybe Stacie, you'll comment on one of these posts here on the page, and they could find you. But she's definitely a very, very great resource. She's helped me a lot, and very grateful for you, Stacie. Thank you so much. And
you're welcome.
All right, take care.
You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.
See you guys.